All right, good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm Dan from Cameron Home Solutions, LLC. Let's get ripping here. This is the fourth live that we've done here. What we've done, we've had some recent storm activity. We've had freezes here. I'm down here in Southwest Florida. We've got a YouTube channel going that's mostly about hurricane prep. We also do some cool DIY videos, and we have some neat content and tips and tricks that we share with people. Because hurricane prep is not a year-round thing, I hesitate to call it seasonal because you can get a hurricane at any time. But we also want to have other content out there because hurricane prep, storm prep, any kind of prep is about learning things. It's about having mechanical aptitude. It's about having a little money set aside. It's about having some experiences and skills and being willing to help others too. So it takes up a lot of territory. And what we're trying to do with our channel is to put that out there and just raise the awareness and bring it out that you too can go ahead and you can prepare for storms. You can do things. And there are a lot of people out there that are willing to help you. Mary and I are willing to help you by doing this sort of thing, by making YouTube videos, and anything that we can impart to you is absolutely wonderful. So that's what we're looking to do here. I'm just getting set up now. And just going through the stuff here. Looks like our audio is good. I'm just going to give a snap. Yeah, that looks like that's working out really well. So what have your recent storm experiences been? Let's start that with a chat. What have your recent storm experiences been lately this winter? You know, North Carolina's had some crazy snow. Atlanta's had snow, and people that usually don't get snow in the South tend to have some troubles with driving. There's a lot of problems, especially if the snow is really slippery, even dry and fluffy. You know, speed is a factor. We're all in a rush today to go everywhere and do everything. And if you're that way and you're on the road and you're not, maybe you might be texting, not quite paying attention, yeah, it's easy to get in trouble, especially if some weather comes out that you're not used to. So that's the kind of thing that we want to talk about and just be aware of. So if anybody is out there and they're picking up on this, again, we're new to this scenario, so we're learning about the live feature, learning how to promote it, learning how to get our channel out there. We're only a few months old, but we've got a wealth of experience between Mary and myself. We've got a lot of other people that have taught us. We've helped hundreds of people with hurricane prep and storm prep over the years. And now we're reaching out to a larger audience. We wrote a couple books and we've got those available. And the idea is just to bring that out there. But what have your storm experiences been lately? Have you had to run your generator? Did you run out of water? Did you have no water, no food? When I say run out of water, did your water get cut off because the power got cut off? We've had some people up in the hills of Tennessee. We've had people in Arkansas, the Carolinas, Georgia, northern Florida. I mean, there are some real rough times here. So, hey, feel free to reach out and talk. We'll be glad to share your experiences and see what's going on. Okay. All right, what I'm doing here is just checking. I've got somebody who may want to check this out. All right, so I'll send them a short text. But yeah, our storm experiences was they were this. We're down here in Southwest Florida, and the temperatures got down to between 32 and 35 degrees at night, so it wasn't bad. We did end up covering up a few plants. We went ahead and closed our attic door, and that way we didn't have any drafty air come down from the attic and go into the garage. Our garage was 61 degrees. Last night it got down to 58 degrees, but it's far better than 35 and 32 degrees outside. So the plants were fine. We have, like most Floridians, we have exposed pipes on the outside of the house for our water pipes, etc. And we did not have it cold enough where we were concerned about covering those up. And if there are many others that did cover up their pipes, they put cardboard boxes, spray foam insulation, pool noodles, regular pipe insulation. I understand there was quite a run on the box stores. Somebody interviewed Lowe's, or I think it was Home Depot a few days ago, and they said that almost every shopping cart, the employee said that almost every shopping cart that left the store had some sort of pipe insulation in the cart because people wanted to insulate their exterior pipes. And those were the pipes that were going into the house. Those were the pipes for the pool equipment. So they needed bigger pieces for the 3 and 4 inch, 2, 3, and 4 inch lines. So if you had any of that sort of thing, hey, reach out. Tell us about your experiences. Our generator was prepped and ready to go. We keep it prepped and ready to go. We run it at least quarterly, more now since we're doing YouTube videos about generators and that sort of thing. And those will be coming. We've put some videos together. We haven't set them up yet. We haven't put them in on the schedule, but they are definitely coming. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. So we'll see if somebody else comes in on the side. But yes, we keep our generator running and we keep it fueled up. We keep it prepped. We just changed the oil on it recently. Like I said, we did a few videos on it already. We'll do a bunch more. And the idea is to build a series so that somebody could come to our channel and look at a playlist on generators and say, oh, look at there's dozen videos here. And you just go from start to finish, spend a few minutes with one, a few minutes with the other. They're not going to be super long. And hey, you'll learn to orient yourself if you're new to generator operation. Every machine's different, but engine oil is engine oil, gas is gas. Diesel and propane are diesel and propane, natural gas is natural gas. If you know what kind of fuel you're using, if you know what kind of output you have, if you know what kind of harmonic distortion your machine generates, if you know how much of a load you can put on it for how long and what your fuel consumption is going to be, you can make some very educated decisions about what you would do at your home and what you would do with your business. And that's what we're about. We're about that kind of thing, imparting that education, getting that business laid out so that you know what you're doing and you feel comfortable doing it. And that's just one of the biggest big things that we have to do. I thought we just lost the feed. I accidentally clicked on the wrong button here. That's funny. Oh, well, it happens. Again, if we've got anybody out here, feel free. So we'll go through. So our storm experiences were minor because we're down. We are down in Southwest Florida. We're far enough where the cold didn't really permeate in. If we were going to have days and days of this, a good week or so, we would certainly do things differently and consider protecting our pipes. But in this point, it wasn't an issue. We didn't have to be concerned about it. So I just put up a darker screen on the TV so we didn't have so much reflection on my glasses. But the other thing we did is we have roll down hurricane shutters, electric hurricane shutters on our impact windows. So we have impact windows and we also have a second layer of hurricane protection. That's just how we roll. So we lowered those shutters at night, and that gave us just a little bit of, let's see if I get this oriented right here, just a little bit of insulation between the outside, the hurricane shutter, and then the window glass. And it's just another layer. It cut down on any drafts in the house. And the heat didn't have to work so hard. We had our AC with a reversing valve, and that was providing heat these last few days. And it didn't have to work as hard to take us where we needed to temperature-wise. The power consumption that we had was normal. Basically, the amount of power we use to air condition our home or the amount of power we use to heat our home is about the same. So we found with 30-degree weather, our machine ran very comfortably. Now, if it got colder and our heat pump was having trouble keeping up, we have we have the heat pump outside, a typical air conditioning unit. We have the air handler inside. There is an emergency, excuse me, there's emergency heat in the air handler, and it's basically an electric heating element. So that would kick on, and when that kicks on, you're going from running 6 and 8 amps on your circuits to running about 35, 38 amps, because that thing is pulling, it's like running a clothes dryer or running a hot water heater. You're pulling a lot of energy to throw that heat out. And we didn't have that problem because our machine was able to keep up with things, and it really did a nice job. So if anybody's out there and they had any issues with their air conditioner, reversing over to a heat pump function, or many air conditioners don't have heat pumps on them. So they would just have an electric heating element for heat. How did you fare with that? Did you have that smoky smell when you first turned on the heating element as it burned the dust off up in that air handler, up in that plenum area? Hey, let us know. Let us know what your experiences were. My wife was kind enough to make some decaf coffee for me here, and I'm drinking it cold right now. So it is, it's tasty. Once in a while, it's nice to have a cool cup of coffee. But if it were any colder tonight, it would definitely switch over to hot chocolate. I'll tell you, the past few nights we went through some hot chocolate, that's for sure. So again, with storm experiences, hey, did any of you have any power outages? Did any of you have any issues with getting food? Water is always a big one, because there are many people who, when they lose power, they lose water too, and that capability is tough. That's a tough thing to have to suffer through, for sure. And we certainly, everyone was in our prayers. We fared very well. Our friends and neighbors did very well here. We did have one neighbor who was very concerned about her air conditioning, and she kept reaching out to her AC company because she just hadn't been involved. I think this is her first experience owning a home. She has lots of questions. So hopefully she'll be able to get those questions answered and have a little more peace of mind now that she's been through her first cold snap in her new house. I'm going to put another chat out there. Did you have to run heat on your air conditioning units in the recent cold snap? Let's see if I spell that right. Yep, there, good. Actually got that right the first time. That's awesome. So maybe some people had to run heat and had to do that sort of thing. We're going to go out and see if we can get any stats on the current power outages in the area. So this will take just a second. I'm going to type in US map power outage, and where I go is poweroutage.us. That's poweroutage.us. And currently in the US, they're telling us that there are 62,600 people without power. We got about 31,000 in Mississippi. Tennessee's got 13,000. We got 2,300 in the Virgin Islands. Oh dear. 2,200 in California. 1,900 in Louisiana. Texas, 1,680. 1,600 in Georgia, and 1,400 up in New York. But let's just take a look at Mississippi, 31,000, and Tennessee, 13,400. Now, we looked at Tennessee and Mississippi on the last live, and we see two counties. We see Hardeman County in southwestern Tennessee with 66 customers, 412 customers out of 6,600. So 400 people without power there. We've got 20 people out in Perry County. And then up in the northern central Tennessee, Davidson County, there's almost 12,000 people without power there. So they must have really been hit hard with the storms that have gone through in the cold snap recently, and the ice and that sort of thing. We'll go back and check on Mississippi because they were really having a tough time too the last time we were out there. 31,000 customers without power. And I would turn this around and share the screen with you, but I don't want to do any copyright violations here on YouTube, so we just want to be careful here. We've got one customer out in Issaquah County, and I hope it's not a hospital or something. I hope it's just something small. And that's over in Issaquah County. The county next to it is 38 people. Then when you run up to northern and northeastern Mississippi, you're looking at Tallahatchie County, 2,000 customers. You've got over 4,700 customers in Tippah County. That's in one of the northernmost counties there in Mississippi. And I have to think which state I'm in. It's a county, not a parish. Yes, that'd be Louisiana. Elkhorn County, 1,467, and then Tishomingo County, 3,300 people without power. So they're still struggling up there. They've had a heck of a time. Here's Yalobusha County. That's a few counties down from northern Mississippi. They've got almost 3,200 people out there. So they're still struggling. So that's a rough thing. We had a note come through a couple days ago from Duke Energy. Now, our power provider is Florida Power and Light, but Duke Energy, Duke Energy put a notice out, hey, between 6 and 10 in the morning, can you curb your electricity use? Apparently, with the cold being as bad as it was, people were using quite a bit of electricity for heat, especially for heating. And the utilities were looking to ask people to back off so it didn't overwhelm the grid. I didn't hear more about it, at least in our area through FPL or any other Duke Energy notification. So I'm going to guess people got through it okay. We have another front that's coming through. We know we've got some more weather coming down through as our winter crawls on here. So that's something that you just have to be aware of. And let's hope we don't have the concerns that we had elsewhere. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that, see if we can punch up some weather here. We'll punch up our old friend, the Weather Channel, and see what we have. The headline for the top story is more snow and even colder air. Excuse me. They're tracking another cold front, so it'll be another chance for accumulating snow. I see the jet stream is dipping down into northern Florida, and we're going to have a lot more iguanas, I guess, frozen up in the trees and dropping onto the ground here. So that's going to be a little crazy. Let's see what we got. So you're looking at Great Lakes all the way down. Let's see. So you're going to have people like Hartford, New York City. You're going to have some gusty winds. You're going to see some 20-degree weather. Yeah, that's not fun. That's a little frigid. And let's see if we've got any information here that might help us. Just the next system, this will be crossing the Great Lakes. But we do have lows dipping down in, so I don't see too much going on here. I'm going to go out to Wink News, which is our local news provider, one of the many great providers that we have down here. And we'll take a look at what the weather might be there. And again, if anybody has anything else they want to bring up, if you see this, you want to just join in on this chat, feel free to do so. These sometimes aren't the most exciting things, but then we get people in and start getting chatting and interacting. I've participated in some other live chats on some other channels, and it's been fun, and you can really learn a lot. We've got another person in the chat, so welcome. So let's just throw a shout out. So welcome to our live session. I'm Dan from Cameron Home Solutions, LLC. I'm out here tonight. Just wanted to get some information, share some experience, and learn if you had any issues with the ice storms, with any of the cold snap that's been going on here. We're down here in Southwest Florida. We're on the outer fringes of the cold snap effects. We were down in the low 30s, but aside from covering up some plants, we didn't have to do anything extreme like covering water lines and and doing that sort of thing. We always have a supply of water on hand, so that's a good thing. Our generator is always ready to go, so we keep that cooking, and we could have that operating in about 15-20 minutes if we needed it in a hurry. But we know some other people just had it awful. I mean, we're down here joking that we had to put socks on with our flip flops because we were cold, and then instead of shorts, we had to wear long pants. But there are people that really were dealing and still are dealing with some incredibly frigid weather, certainly north of us in northern Florida, uh, up in Tennessee, the Carolinas, northern Mississippi. I mean, it's been crazy. So if you have any experiences or anything you want to share, we can talk about it. But right now it's 54 degrees here in Fort Myers. In the Fort Myers area, we live a bit north of that, and we're going to have a clear sky tonight. Weather will be around 45, 46 degrees. I heard 48 degrees today earlier on the radio, and that's a far cry from the 30s that we got mentioned. I'm just looking to see if we can learn a little bit more about the front that might be coming across the country. Yeah. We can kick over to something funny here. We have Groundhog Day just come up, and we got 6 more weeks of winter. If he sees his shadow, if he doesn't see it, it's early spring, and I'm not even sure what happened. Oh, he did spot a shadow and called for 6 more weeks of winter. So, okay, isn't that usually the case, right? But apparently he's only 35 to 40% accurate. I forgot about that. It's such an interesting tradition. Oh my goodness, that's really funny. So weather-wise, yeah, winter is here. Winter has certainly gripped the U.S. It's gripped other parts of the world. It's been an interesting winter. Here in Florida, we had a very minor, almost non-existent hurricane season here in 2025. Obviously, we had some areas that had some storms, and of course, Jamaica had some terrible, terrible issues down there. Bahamas got blown a little bit here, a little bit there. But we in the continental U.S., we were very, very fortunate. Um, I think a lot of us expected to have a milder winter, talking about global warming and weather shifts and that sort of thing. But I guess you can say, the weather's gotten a lot more volatile. And I can't pin it down because I'm not a climate expert. Some of these things we hear about are just might be a bunch of hoopla. Some of them might be actually spot on. I don't know enough about it to put out an educated opinion, so I won't go there. But it's been an interesting, very dynamic winter, some very interesting weather. And I remember being a kid and getting snow that's, this high. And there we go. Try to get that in the camera. This high. And dealing with feet of snow. I remember the 1977 blizzard and huge payloaders were out taking care of stuff. And these were the big ones, the 988s and the big cats out there. And when you're a kid, that was just something to see. That was just crazy. Has anybody had to run their generator here in the recent cold snap? And if so, did you have any issues with your generator? Did it start up okay? Are you an experienced person with the generator? Are you very familiar with running it? Do you use hardwire hookups to your house? Do you run power cords? Do you have a dedicated generator room like we used to have at the farm up north? We had a liquid cooled diesel generator. It was a Ranger 300. It was actually a diesel welder and had a 12,000-watt generator on it. And we used that to run the farmhouse and the garage. And boy, that thing was awesome. And we'd fire that up, and we had air intake come in, and the exhaust went outside, and it was actually attached to the house. And that little room was fantastic. And we were surprised at how much we used that machine. We've got another diesel generator down here now, and since we've moved further north out of Fort Myers, where we've lived about 12 years, and we haven't needed to use the machine. Right now, what we're doing is we run it periodically to exercise it. But if anybody else has other experiences, hey, feel free to chime in, and feel free to share. And more specifically, has anyone had any issues with their generator operation? We'll throw a chat out there, something to think about. Just correct a little bit of typing here. We don't mind running our generator. There we go. Has anyone had any issues with their generator operation during this cold snap? We don't have any issues running a generator. We're very comfortable with it. We've done it many times. We've been through many storms over the years down here in Florida. Two of our most severe hurricanes were Irma and Ian. The wind in Ian was ferocious. And I remember being out there. Mary made a strap for my hard hat so that hard hat didn't blow away while I was out there working. Some of you may have seen a couple of the videos on our channel where Mary took a couple short videos of me out there cleaning the storm drains by our house. And those trees were just a whipping in. It was just crazy, crazy stuff out there. And it was just hard to deal with. It was frustrating. Dangerous. I had a tree branch fall on my neck, and it was the hard hat broke my fall. I don't think I'd be here now talking to you. If I did, I'd be in a lot of pain if I didn't have that hard hat break the fall of that tree branch. And it was probably about 4 inches in diameter, but it fell down from about 20 feet. And then, we were in just crazy winds. Excuse me. So it came down to me, put me right down on the ground while I was working. And I didn't spend too much time by that catch basin afterward. I was able to get up, throw that tree branch off the lawn rather forcefully because my adrenaline was going at that point, but that was rough. For those of you, if you've had storm experiences, we'd love to hear about them. And if you have any tips, again, we're a hurricane prep channel, a storm prep channel. Basically, a storm is a storm. And whether you label it a thunderstorm or a hurricane or a tropical storm or blizzard, they're basically common things that you do. And it's about protecting yourself, protecting your family, protecting your property if you can, protecting your community. And we kind of look at it this way. If you can learn things to help yourself, and then if you have family members, you can help the family unit. Then if you can go out and take your knowledge and help your neighbors, now you're starting to go out to the next bit, which is helping your community. And some of the best ways to help your community is by being as knowledgeable as you can about storm prep, as knowledgeable as you can about healthy eating during a storm, how to store water, how much to store, how to safely store that water. The other thing would be that eating healthy part is you don't want to go through a storm on Doritos and Red Bull. You really should be eating healthier. You should be eating soups and proteins and different things, because carbs can be fun, and having some party food is, sometimes it's anything you can get while you're working and doing your thing, but your body might be jacked up during a blizzard or a big blow or a storm, and you need some healthy food. You want to be able to think rationally. You want to be hydrated. You definitely want to be rested. And if you can do all this stuff and take care of yourself, inevitably you're going to have some neighbors that may not know as much as you about the storm prep operation, especially if you've moved in or they've moved into an area, and you can help them. And I'll move on again about community. One of the best things we can do to help our communities is to be as self-sufficient as we can. Mary and I like to say on this channel that the best insurance is self-reliance. I'll say it again. The best insurance is self-reliance, being able to count on yourself from the knowledge and experiences that you've learned and that you've learned from others, and also from the knowledge and experiences you've passed on to others. The less you can rely on government services during a storm situation, the better off you are. Municipalities, law enforcement, first responders, they're busy with people who actually need help. And I would say it's a good thing to have some pride, have some personal pride to say, hey, I don't need the fire department to stop at my house. And if they do, that's fine. It's not a bad thing. But I'm saying I'm okay. My wife and I, Mary and I, are okay being prepared enough where you can stop and check on us and see how we're doing, but we don't need you here. There are other people that need your services. You need to be over with them. And I think a lot of people, many people have fostered that idea that you just don't want to rely on government services in a disaster situation. Sometimes you have no choice. If there's a bad flood or if the things are going down. I mean, there are so many, we can't mention them all now. We'll be on here 19 hours. But if you can do as much as you can on your own, help your family unit, then your neighbors and your community that way, and be doing a good thing. If anybody's got any stories about that, hey, feel free to share, pop in the chat. That would be fine for you to do. It's always good when we learn these things and see what's going on, because hey, we don't know everything. We know quite a bit. Did you see how I jumped to that phone? Oh my goodness, that scared the heck out of me there. I punched on a notification here and just about jumped out of my seat. Can't even forgot what I was saying. But anyway, the whole idea is education, being prepared, and be proud of what you know. There are so many people. You guys out there know so much about storm prep. You know so much about things that you may not think much about. You might take your knowledge for granted. And my wife's always telling me this, and we talk about it with family members. Sometimes people have some incredible knowledge that they just take for granted, or sometimes they go the other way and they assume that everybody, I know this, you should know that, that's common knowledge. Well, common knowledge is not actually very common. Sometimes common sense isn't very common either. So maybe it should be called uncommon sense, or I don't know what to tell you. But being prepared, very important. Knowing what you're doing, very important. Staying calm is a big thing. And that's taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, getting rest, eating right, staying hydrated, keeping yourself in a relaxed frame of mind is good for you personally. It sets up a nice vibe for your family, and it's better for the community. You know what it's like when you're going through a disaster or a storm situation and you've got that chicken little neighbor who's running around and chatting on the phone and all excited and just going crazy and all upset. People don't need to be that way. Some people, they can't help themselves, but sometimes when that, it's just, if you can calm those people down, that's a fantastic thing. So that's a great thing to do. I'm still laughing about that notification that came up on my phone, just about blew my eardrums off. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Let's see what we got here. All right, we've got about 83 videos out on our channel right now. The majority of them are about hurricane prep. We also have some neat DIY things. We just shot a video yesterday, and we actually have this ladder crane that we use, and we use it to hang large screen televisions. And usually when I'm out there working, I'm working alone, and I'm 60 now. I don't pick up 75-inch screen televisions, 75-inch televisions or larger, and throw them up on the wall like I used to. So I said, I want to take care of my shoulders, take care of my back. So if we do get another hurricane down here, I can actually function and help ourselves and help our community here. So we said, hey, how can we do this using what we have? We had a couple Gorilla ladders, an 18-footer and a 22-footer. So we took the 22-footer and did some modifications to that. And hey, if you're interested, you can run over to the channel and do a search for crane ladder. You can see what we did. So we hoisted a 75-inch television into place yesterday, and the video catches the point where we're actually attaching it to a wall mount. And that's pretty cool. And it's that kind of ingenious thinking that we try to foster on our channel, because that really helps in a prep situation, that thinking outside the box, as well as the more mundane, hey, what do you have? What can you use to make your situation better? That's a very important skill. It's a very important thing to do. So we put that stuff out there, and we certainly foster that sort of thing, because we want people to have that spirit of ingenuity, that spirit of invention, because it can really help in a storm situation. You get through enough of these things and you do enough prepping, I find anyway that a lot of people that we've helped just calm down. They used to be so anxious about storms. We have a lady named Kathy, wonderful lady that we've known in the area. Pretty, right up there, right up there. But even she's a lot calmer when a storm comes because she said, geez, Dan, Mary, we've learned so much and you've helped us just to get through. Hey, we just passed along some information that we learned on our own and that people taught us. And we knew that these things were giving you a bit of some agita, giving you an issue. So we wanted to share this information to calm you down. And apparently it worked. One of the big things we've done is some generator consults. We've helped people acquire generators. We've helped people set them up, teach people how to use them, how to maintain them. And once in a while, I'll go to the houses, I'll change the oil and change the spark plugs, check them out. And people have been very happy. And one thing they really learn is if you're going to have something like this, hey, it's like a child in a way. You've got to take care of it. You've got to feed that plant and water it. Now, if you feed a plant and water it, it'll grow. Let's take your plant, your generator, call it a power plant. If you feed and water your power plant, it's going to go. So plants will grow, your generator will go. It's very important. Generators are a great part of a storm prep arsenal. There are some great inverter generators out there now, and inverter generators are getting larger and larger. These can be variable speed generators. Some of them run a lot quieter than their older counterparts and their non-inverter counterparts. An inverter generator converts DC electricity into AC. And when it does that, it puts out very clean power, which is great for sensitive electronics like charging your phone, your laptop, printers, and other devices. Hey, since so many of our appliances operate with circuit boards in them, hey, the cleaner power you can get into your house from your generator, the better. So if you're looking at generators and generator choices, feel free to consider some of these inverters that are out there. We've had people who've had wonderful luck with them. They like the variability feature where if your power output is not as large as what the machine needs to handle at the time, the machine will rev down a little bit. It won't be running at full throttle. That saves a lot of power. If you need the demand, the machine will ramp up. So just that alone can be a huge saver in terms of fuel. So that's a very important thing. And again, we'll get more into that. Some of the other prep videos we've talked about, we've got a series of hurricane protection for your windows, your window and door openings in your home. So we'll be talking about that as well. And it'd be great to learn because we still have people, they run the gamut. They'll put up these special plastic panels. They'll put up polycarbonate panels. We used to have polycarbonate panels at our last house. And we had insulated storm windows, insulated impact windows on that house. But we covered those with polycarbonate panels just to keep the water and keep the wind and any debris off of the windows themselves. And it really made a difference because with that style of insulated impact glass window, the outer pane is not an impact pane. That's just a regular piece of anneal glass. You can put a golf ball through it. You could put a baseball through it. Then you'd have a little layer of argon, and then you have the polycarbonate treated glass on the inside, and there's a glass with a glaze on it, and it's designed to spider and crack, but it doesn't blow through. So you might have a roof tile or something smash into your window, and that window is not supposed to give way. So that way the winds and the water don't breach your house and come in and cause major damage. So impact windows are really great. We went that extra step. We said, well, hey, it's $2,000 a window to put these things in now in some cases. Maybe it might be better to put a few $100s in hurricane protection on the outside. So we put up the polycarbonate shutters on that house to keep debris from damaging those windows. And we never had an issue, and we deployed those things a number of times. Now we're in the new house here. We've been here a few years, and we have impact windows. The builder put in impact windows. They're not insulated, but they're impact windows, which is great. They're Miami-Dade rated, which is something else we'll talk about in the channel. But we did decide to put electric hurricane shutters on the outside so that we could further protect our glass. And yes, things can bounce off the glass. There could be fractures and spidering in the glass. But to avoid that, hey, we just hit a button now. And again, we're getting older. So we don't want to go run around putting up these things and leaning over bushes and slipping on leaves and whatever. So we just hit a button and put these things in. And we're big fans of portable power supplies, as I ramble on further. Big fans of portable power supplies. And the power supplies are set up. We have the house set up so we can actually use our portable power supplies. We use Jackery's, Jackery Explorer 2000. We have a Jackery Explorer 2000 Pro that's in lithium ion. We got that back in 2022, just after Hurricane Ian. Boy, I wish we had it before Hurricane Ian, but we have it now. And that's a wonderful unit. And then last May, we picked up a Jackery Explorer 2000 V2, version 2, and now that's in lithium iron phosphate. That thing is wonderful. You charge it up, it does not drain. The old lithium ion drains about 5% every month. So we pull it out at about 55 or 60%. We charge it up. We just did that here before the cold snap to make sure we were all charged up. But that lithium iron phosphate, oh my goodness, those things just hold the power. And we did a full test. You can see it on our channel. We did a full test on a couple of things with a refrigerator and freezer. We showed how we run our television and our systems so that when storms come in our area, we kind of turn our house a little bit into Storm Central, so we can monitor different channels at the same time using different power backups. It really works out well. But going back, we actually have our house set up where if we needed to, we can use our portable power supplies on a dedicated circuit that we put in to actually operate our electric shutters. So if the power's out, we can still run them. And if that doesn't work, we got the old crank. So we can do the manual crank, or we can use a cordless drill to slowly put these things up and down. So that's a good thing too. So that's some great protection, and it really works out well. I'm going to throw another chat out there here. Okay, here we go. Has anyone had any experiences with using plywood to board up their windows for a storm? How did it work out? I just wanted to throw that out there and see if anybody has a response to that. We don't know of maybe one family that used plywood, and it was because it was last minute. They went out to the store. They found like one piece of plywood left in Home Depot or something. They brought it home, cut it up, and they covered a couple of their windows on the south side of their house because they thought with the hurricane winds that were supposed to be coming through. This was back in I believe Hurricane Irma. It might have been one of the other hurricanes. I can't remember, but they used plywood, and they didn't have any issues with it. But those are the only people we personally know that used it. If you use plywood, some people make specific boards and they have them set to go in the windows or in the openings, and they have support brackets and everything all set up, or cross members made out of 2x4s. If you do anything like that, hey, feel free to put a chat in. We'd love to hear you talk about that sort of thing and see what your experiences are, because in a storm, anything helps. I personally wouldn't want to deal with plywood on a regular basis for storm protection. I would want something more robust. But hey, you can take a couple pieces of plywood and you can stop stuff. You can stop a roof tile depending on how fast it's traveling. It all depends on the wind velocity, rain, what's going on out there. So, and every storm can be different, and we all know that. One of the hard things with hurricanes, and we dealt with this, I think it was Hurricane Milton here a couple years ago. We had a storm come through, but it had a lot of tornadic activity with it. There were tornadoes spinning up around our community where we currently live, and we didn't have anything touch down in here, but they came close, and that's a little freaky. So when you have hurricanes and that counterclockwise rotation, and you get those spin-offs on the outer arms of these hurricane bands, and you get tornadoes, you get thunder, lightning, it can be pretty ugly. And we've had buildings damaged by F1 and F2 tornadoes, not personally, but we know people that have gone through that sort of thing, and it was a pretty ugly situation. But hey, you go through it, you deal with it. And again, maybe in that case, plywood would not be the best choice, but it's better than nothing. And if that's all you have and that's all you can get, and if you're used to using it, hey, more power to you. At least you've got some protection. There are so many people these days in apartment buildings, etc. Now, that's something that Mary and I have to look into. There is so much building going on down here in Southwest Florida. So many apartments are being built. And these buildings are huge. They're 4 and 5 stories. They hold hundreds of units. And one thing we need to look into is if these owners that build these things, there are both stick-built complexes and then concrete block complexes. One thing we have to check is to see, and I'm not sure what the codes are now, with this new building, well, you're supposed to either have hurricane protection or you're supposed to provide hurricane protection that the owner can put in. So I'm going to guess, and if somebody feel free to chime in here to correct me, but because of these multifamily units, I think it's safe to guess that the window protection on those buildings must be impact window protection by default, because I don't think a landlord can really count on a tenant to go out there on the third floor and button up a window and do this or that. So that's a pretty interesting question. I'm going to write that down. That's something we have to look into. Multifamilies and impact windows. Because I know for a fact that with new construction, at least in Florida anyway, you have to either provide the owner with impact protection in the window itself, make it an impact window, or provide the owner with shutters, some means of protecting a non-impact window. So there are 2 ways to go on that. We were fortunate in this community where we had impact windows. They were actually part of the house package, which was great. We couldn't change it. We wanted to change the package to insulated impact glass, and we were willing to pay a small upcharge to do that because at the builder level, it doesn't cost that much. But unfortunately, we had just a production home, and we took what they had, and that's all we had. So we said, hey, we'll just augment the protection. It wasn't cheap. We did move some things around to be able to pay for it and afford that, but that's what we did. But if you have hurricane protection in the form of corrugated shutters, be it steel shutters, aluminum shutters, galvanized shutters, or polycarbonate shutters, they work really well as long as your U channels and your F channels and your bolts and everything slide well, or if you put them on horizontally over the window opening and bolt them into the house structure, they work fantastic. And they can deflect wind, they can deflect rain, keep mud and dirt off your windows. Boy, that was something that was crazy. Hurricane Irma for us was a very wet storm. So it acted like a giant pressure washer. I think we got about 15 and a half inches of rain. And before that, Storm Harvey had come through from Texas and really washed us up and really filled our lakes up and that sort of thing. But when Hurricane Ian came through, we only had about 5.5 inches of rain in the Fort Myers area where we were. So we didn't have very much get into that rain gauge, that's for sure. And you could tell after that storm because buildings were dirty. To this day, I'll go down and do service work for some of our old neighbors in the community where we lived. And I can still see Hurricane Ian dirt and mud inside the window tracks on the corners of the window screens, because not everybody washes their windows in their buildings on a regular basis. And you can see that stuff jammed in behind the screens of the lanai by the balcony railings, and just dirt, mud, little sticks. I mean, just hurricane debris that's just been there for years. And it's just amazing to see. So again, normally you figure with a storm, you're going to have lots of water. You'll have wind. You'll have lots of water. But there wasn't that much water for us in that storm. And things were just so dirty. It was just crazy. But that's just what we had to deal with and what we needed to deal with at the time. So when you get these snowstorms now, it's a little different. They blow cold, they blow hard, they blow the snow. Usually things are frozen, so you don't get a lot of dirt and crud blown in. It's just the snow itself. But if anybody has any other experiences with regard to what happens in blizzards, I've never experienced anything out in the Midwest, etc. If it happens differently, where sometimes you might get some other kind of precipitation, hey, throw a chat out there, let us know, because it would be nice to know what the other experiences could be for sure. So I'm Dan. This is Cameron Home Solutions LLC. We run a storm prep channel on YouTube, and our slogan out there on the banner is Storm Prep. We get it. And what we are working to do is helping you guys to get it as well. There are so many of you out there that know a whole lot about storm prep, and there's a fair amount of you that are new to the areas where you live, and it could be anywhere up the eastern seaboard, because hurricanes and storms like that can affect us on the west coast of Florida, east coast, all the way up through. I mean, gosh, in Newfoundland up there, Nova Scotia, they can have issues. My brother up in Connecticut, where I'm originally from, has had issues with hurricanes. We want you guys to get it too. We want you guys to understand what storm prep is all about. And we want you to be calm. We want to take the fear out of it. We have a YouTuber, there's a very prominent prepper who's out in the channel out west. And he says, I like to take the fear out of things. So Mike does a nice job of that. And we want to do the same thing. We want to take the fear out of the planning process. We want people to approach storms or any of these life events that we have to deal with a degree of confidence. Prepare as best you can. Arm yourself with knowledge. Arm yourself with hydration and rest and exercise and the right mental attitude. And you can get through these storms and really help your family thrive through these storms as well. So that's a good thing to do. It's hard when you go through storms, because I know for me, Hurricane Irma was a rough one, but Ian was really bad because the winds were so fierce, and the wind would whip up, and then there would be a slight lull, and then the wind would just whip up harshly again, and you just never knew. Excuse me, choking on the coffee here. You just never knew what the next gust was going to be. Was it going to be a little lower? Was it going to be a little higher? And then it would increase louder and louder and harder and harder. And we went through that storm for hours. It was just unbelievable. It was very nerve-wracking. But we just knowing that we were prepared to the best of our abilities. We got through the storm fine. We didn't have any property damage. There's going to be a video short coming out on our channel here in a couple weeks. And it's about 26 seconds long, and it's going to show the white caps. I mean, these waves they had to be 2.5 feet high on this 22-acre lake that we live next to. And I swear we laughed. We thought we saw Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel out there surfing on the waves with a cordless microphone talking about Hurricane Ian. It was just wild weather, splashing up on the banks on the north side. And this was when the storm started coming in. It came in sort of from the southwest, but the winds had turned and they were more from the south at this point. And what a mess. People they lost windows. They had all kinds of damage. People had roof damage, all kinds of roof damage. But anyway, with regard to our property, we prepared as best we could. By the grace of the Lord, we had no injuries, no property damage. We had landscape damage, but that's neither here nor there. You just throw a little bit of money at that and you can fix it. And we pruned up some plants and did this, did that, and helped our neighbors, and they helped us, and that's how we got through it. So, but the intensity of these storms can really rattle you. So while you're learning about hurricane prep, if you go ahead and just learn calming techniques, and just remember that with that education comes a competence and a confidence and the ability to just relax and power through the weather. You can still be upset. You can still be, heart racing at 100 beats per minute, 130 beats per minute inside your chest. But you can exude an outer calm so your kids don't get crazy, so your family members don't get rattled up. Because sometimes helping the community and helping your neighbors is about just having a little bit of bravado. And you can get that a lot easier by being properly prepared yourself. Because remember, you really can't help others until you help yourself first. You can't really love others until you love yourself first. This kind of, biblical principle that you can put out there. But that's where we're going with hurricane prep. It's a matter of arming ourselves with knowledge, having the foresight and the ability to learn everything we can to help us weather these storms in a great manner, and from there, just being a more productive participant in the whole storm process, where we can actually help our friends, neighbors, and the community to have a better storm experience as well. No storms are fun. Sometimes it seems like they can be a lot of fun, but a lot of people get rattled by them. And if we can help in any way, then we'd like to do that. And that's why we're doing this sort of thing. It's about giving back. We've had so many people give us so much. So, with regard to you, what have people done for you? What is your storm experience like? What is your prepping experience like? Do you have one or two stories that really lend credence to how you prepped and how you learned? Feel free to let us know. We wish to thank everyone who stopped by to visit our little corner of the YouTube world. The YouTube world is an incredible place, I'll tell you. There's so much going on here, and it is just so much knowledge. You can pick up so much here. We're glad to be participants in it. Being a YouTube creator is a lot of work. There's a lot to it. Sometimes you work so hard on a video only to find that it doesn't do very well in the marketplace, and then you slap something together hoping it'll help somebody, and you get all kinds of views. Sometimes you just never know how it's going to roll. But that's just part of the program, and you learn to get better at what you're doing. Once you get out there, you know that your first videos aren't going to be the best videos that you ever put out. You'll look back at some of the older ones when you go through, and you'll say, hey, I can't believe I put that stuff out there. But somebody watched it, and then you got 50 views, then you got 500 views, and then 10,000 views. So, but you just work at it, you get better at it. And we know we're not perfect. We're learning every day, but we're happy to help you out there. Happy to help you learn more about storm prep to make your life a whole lot better. So we're going to be out here for about another minute and a half or so. Again, I'm Dan. My wife is Mary. She's usually the one behind the camera in our videos, and I want to thank her for all the great work that she does on that sort of thing, because boy, it's a learning curve for both of us. I'll tell you, she's really learning a lot. She's getting great. We're Cameron Home Solutions, LLC. We've got a YouTube channel primarily focused on hurricane prep. We also do some very interesting heavy-duty DIY. We showcase various DIY tips and tricks. We've got some neat ones coming up about the sawhorses that we use on the heavier jobs. And like I said, we just did one here about how you can hang a 75-inch television, larger or smaller, by yourself. And we've come up with some tools to do that, which a lot of people may be able to use because we're using common materials that are available in the marketplace, and using a step ladder. Now, the engineers might say your step ladder is not intended to do that, but hey, if it's a ladder with a 300-pound limit and I'm lifting a 65-pound television up onto the wall, doing some of the techniques, I've never had a problem. The ladders work fine. It's all on how you approach it, I guess, and knowing a little bit about cranes and lifting and rigging and counterweights, etc. You guys could do that well too. You can do very well. So if anybody has any questions, has any comments this evening, feel free to give a shout out. I appreciate that those of you who have stopped by. It's great to have been out here, and come by, visit our channel, give us a like. If you see something you enjoy it, definitely feel free. We invite you to subscribe, and definitely share it with your friends, share it with your circle. And that way we can get the knowledge out and just get it to more people, because that's the whole idea. We've got some great knowledge and experiences that people have helped us to acquire, and now we want to pay it forward and get it out there. Again, Dan and Mary, we want to wish you guys a great night. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next video, and we'll see you in the next live session. Thank you.